Hey everybody, it's Dr. Goddess, and we are looking at one of the original posters of For Colored Girls, which opened at the Booth Theater on 222nd West 45th Street. And look how gorgeous that poster is. That's fantastic. So, I love this poster. It's one of the originals. And I wanted to release this vlog because you know the DVD film video is coming out for Colored Girls, and I had a lot to say and to think about when the movie was first released. And I was told by some people that I'm the only intellectual they know that actually liked the film. So let me just share a few things. I did not hate Tyler Perry's For Colored Girls. I did recognize the weaknesses, and I actually agree with some of the critics, but I don't actually agree with all of the criticism. I thought that the film was beautifully done, and by that I mean the cinematography. I thought it was gorgeous in that regard, and when the film first opened, I thought the credits were gorgeous. I mean, I teared up when I started seeing Ntozake Shange's words flash across the scene. And for someone who is in literature and or who's a poet or who loves theater, the words are so important to us, and I thought that was a great idea to start off with those words. I also love the imagery in terms of the colors because, you know, I really did not want for the women to just appear in dance outfits and, you know, scarves and skirts the way that we see in theater. I love theater, and I think it should be authentic in and of itself. But with a film, you need to be more creative, and as you all know, in the theater, it's monochromatic, and so you have this black box theater, this dark space, and then these colors, you know, they're vibrant in this dark theater space. But once you move to film, you need to do things a bit differently, and so once the camera panned to Joe's office, who would have been the lady in red, although she was also mixed with other women, when I saw the red cups, the red teacups, and the saucers, I thought, beautifully done. Well done, Tyler Perry, because those red accents and having her be the lady in red with the accents, I thought that was brilliant. And I thought that the accentuation of the yellow flowers and the green clothing and the lady in green's plants, I thought that the way he accentuated the colors with the home decor was fabulous. I don't understand why people have a problem with that. Also, there was a criticism that there was no joy in the film. Now, I want to slightly disagree with that, although I do mostly disagree. I mostly agree with that. And it's because I do think that Tyler Perry doesn't have a grasp on the full joyousness of womanhood and embracing her full sexuality. I think that's true. I think Perry, as well as the rest of us, need to work on that. And for that reason alone, because that is the primary issue around the play, is our development and our womanhood, including our sexuality and embracing our joy. I do think that's why Nzinga Stewart probably should have continued on with the script and directed it. I will say that, Tyler Perry, I do think that black women should have been given a full role, even with you as producer for 34th Street Films. I think it would have still been fabulous, and that instead of having an iconic movie that was controversial, we would have had an absolute classic along the lines of Cooley High or even The Color Purple, for example. So that's something to think about. However, as a dancer and a choreographer and someone who loves theater, I loved the dance scene when the younger woman was talking about, you know, the fullness of her sexuality and her first sort of prom night experience. And I know that that's not really her monologue, but I loved the dance scene and how they were all in motion together. I thought that was so beautiful. And I do agree with, I believe, Salamisha's Tillett's criticism, where she said that, unfortunately, the way that the monologues were mixed together, because she's the one that ended up pregnant and having an abortion, it was punishment in many ways for the expression of her free sexuality, and I absolutely agree with that criticism. I also loved, of course, at the end I wanted to tweak it a bit just because the line, I found God in myself and I loved her fiercely. That is a line that's repeated in the play, and it is also one of the most, if not the most important line in the play. And it should have been, in my opinion, the most important line in the movie. It's the one that encapsulates everything. It's ownership over ourselves, our spirits, our bodies, our minds, our sexuality, everything. And in Finding the Goddess, and as you all know, my name is Dr. Goddess for a reason, is precisely because of that line in the play and being embraced and feeling really empowered by that, and Yoruba mythology and much more. So Dr. Goddess doesn't just come from Ntozake Shange, but that line in the play is extremely important, and it certainly was influenced by her work. So when Kimberly Elise, no relation, says, she says the line, and she says fiercely, but it's more, it's a little bit more muted, and I found that kind of challenging. And so I was disappointed in the end, and I wanted it to be repeated. I wanted it to be repeated by the women, and I wanted them to strike a pose that was a little bit more realistic, instead of just hugging in on Kimberly Elise's part. I mean, hers is important, but all of the women's struggles, all of their struggles are important. And so, I had mixed feelings. I just didn't leave the theater, in a flurry rage against Tyler Perry. I didn't think that he just totally destroyed the film. Although I do think that it would have been much better served in a black woman's hands as a story about, for, by, and with black women. So that's just one vlog on For Colored Girls. Just a few of my thoughts, not everything. And I'll write some more on my blog. And I thank you all for watching my review of For Colored Girls, now that it's on DVD. Bye!